Boom! Episode 6, Tasting Tuesday. We had so much fun last week where it was myself and Frankie doing Tasting Tuesday that we decided to do it again together today. So there's me, and then you might notice that we didn't actually get Frankie here. His car broke down. He had no way to get here today. We lost Frankie, which is sad. But here's what we're gonna do instead. In a couple of minutes, we're going to call Frankie. We're gonna FaceTime him and have him talk about our 2 coffees today. So we'll get that in. So that's how it works. Episode 6, let's do it. Here we go. So, the 2 coffees that we're trying today. First one is Topacio. I apologize about my handwriting, but Topacio, Mexican Topacio, and then also Tanzanian Peaberry. Now, we've already talked about Topacio a little bit because it's Frankie's favorite coffee. And we decided to do it today because he roasted it this weekend, and I said that would be great to do a Tasting Tuesday with Topacio and actually have you on camera with your favorite coffee, but then his stupid car had to go and break down. Selfish automobiles. And so he's not actually here to talk about it. But before we call him, there's something about Tanzanian Peaberry that I think is really kind of cool. This is Java Jam Pit, which was the coffee that we used last week. This is our Mexican Topacio. Then this is the Peaberry. You might not be able to tell the difference. This one right here is Peaberry. Do you notice the shape difference? Instead of normal coffee beans, right? These Peaberries look like little tiny balls. It's called Peaberry because of their fun little shape. And it grows like this because coffee beans are really just seeds inside of the coffee cherries that grow. There's usually 2 of them in every single cherry. But what's different about the Peaberry is that the 2 sides, those 2 seeds, basically merge together into kind of a ball shape. So with every normal coffee cherry that you would usually get 2 coffee beans out of, with Peaberry you only really get 1, and it's a very circular coffee. You see that? Versus something like that. My cinematography is just great. So that's the difference of Peaberry. I didn't set that up right. I'm gonna get some water in these and let them sit for 4 minutes. And then we will, when we're done with that, we'll break the brewing cycle and get tasting. So let's do that.
Much later.
Just a little kind of stir on the top. I actually did this week with Jill. She came in, we were talking about Tasting Tuesday. She asked, she's like, what do you mean, why do you, when you taste it, you get these grinds in? And I said, well, it's because it's difficult when you're trying to get the top layer off. And she scoffed at me. She said, ha ha ha, no. And I said, you know what, Jill? Why don't you try it? And she did. And I'm not gonna say if she did better than me, but she might be a natural. And then we tasted, I can't remember what we actually tasted, but it was fun. It was like a personalized kind of one-on-one tasting, I think Wednesday or Thursday. Peaberry's ready. A few minutes to cool down. So while they're cooling down, let's call Frankie. Let's see what he's got to say about these 2 coffees. Oh, hey.
Hey everybody, it's me. I'm back this week. Just because my car broke down doesn't mean that I can't show up.
It's like you didn't even leave.
Frankie's coffee couch. So anyways, I had to represent that time of year.
Oh
again.
my
Football's
God.
coming back. So today I get to tell you about Tanzanian Peaberry and Mexican Topacio. We're talking about Tanzanian Peaberry in Frankie's Coffee Corner. And Tanzanian Peaberry is one of our many varietals that we have at the shop. And it is one of the ones we get from Africa. Peaberry actually grows on Mountain Meru or Kilimanjaro. So another interesting thing about Peaberry is that the Peaberry coffee bean actually comes from a coffee cherry. It's a fruit. And when they open that shell of the fruit, usually there are 2 half unroasted green beans in there. But for Peaberry, there's 1 whole one. Another very interesting interesting thing about Tanzania, it is the 15th largest coffee growing country in the world. In 2015, they produced 122,782,704 pounds, and they exported 109,358 and 40 pounds of it. That's 89% exported. That's a lot of coffee beans. But guess what? That's only 0.6% of the coffee grown worldwide. Right, so now we're going to talk about Mexican Topacio. It is actually grown by more smaller producers in the regions of Chiapas, Mexico, which is where one of our other coffees come from, Chiapas Jacinto. These beans grow between 1,100 and 1,500 meters above sea level, and the reason why is because it's rich in volcanic soil, and it receives a good combination of sunlight, ideal temperatures, and precipitation that provide the essential components growing strictly high-grown coffee. Many believe that this is where Mexico's best coffee can be found and grown. All right, everybody, that's it for Frankie's Coffee Corner this week. Next week, hopefully my car's fixed by then, and I'll be back there in person with Sam, and I'll go through the whole processing and tasting it. So now, y'all have a great rest of the week. Come on down to the shop again. It'll be great, and go Pack Go.
Perfect. Thank you, Frankie. We appreciate that wonderful insight into these two beautiful coffees. Let's jump into the actual tasting. That's why we're here today. So let's start with Peaberry, Tanzanian Peaberry, and kind of see what kind of notes that we could pull out of this thing. Medium bodied, some kind of almost fruitiness. I'd consider it more like winey flavored, not like wah, but like, you know, all of our moms getting together for a girls' night out kind of wine. It's not too bad. It's bright, which is good. Good bright coffee. Sweet winey notes. Now let's go to Topacio and see what we pull out from this guy. All right, give my spoonful and slurping. Just like the last time that we talked about this, I was gonna say like an overwhelming amount of chocolate flavor, not an overwhelming, but it's got I was almost gonna say subtle too. None of my adjectives are working today. The chocolate flavor in this is prevalent. There's a good vocab word for you. You wanna know what that means? Bing! Prevalent. That's what that means. It's good. It's also medium bodied, so it's not super heavy. You know what? This is pretty good. I'm with Frankie. I love Mexican coffee. It's just they've always had very good notes to it. High quality. It's not overwhelming on any front. The chocolate is heavy. It's prevalent there. But it's not bad at all. It's a very good cup of coffee. I would say out of Topacio and out of Peaberry, my preference out of these two would be Topacio. Don't take my word for it though. Like, come in, buy like half a pound of one, a half pound of the other, and see which one you like better. We have a handful of customers that come in and love Peaberry and have been drinking this Tanzanian Peaberry for years. We've had Tanzanian Peaberry since I started roasting about 4 years ago. This Topacio is somewhat newer. Maybe that's why I like it so much, is because it's new. It's something fresh. But yeah, good Topacio. You know what? I'll take one more sip of Peaberry. We're calling it a day. Just to have it. It's not too fruity. It's just a little too fruity for me. And that's just a personal preference. It's a very good cup of coffee. If somebody gifted me a bag of Tanzanian Peaberry, I would not be upset at all. But if I have the choice coming in this week, first come, first serve, by the way, of Topacio versus Peaberry, I might lean towards Topacio. I'm just saying, that's just me. So that's what we got. Those are those two coffees, Mexican Topacio, Tanzanian Peaberry. They were both delicious, good cups of coffee. That's Tasting Tuesday, episode 6. I'm a little off my game because I didn't have Frankie here, and I was really hoping to have Frankie here. But car problems are car problems. We've all had them, and sadly we don't have Frankie today. Because let's be honest, we had more views on last week's Tasting Tuesday, and it wasn't because of the insight that I brought to the table with this. It was because Frankie was here. Also, by the way, if you watched last week's episode, you'll recall that the camera overheated twice, and it didn't overheat once while it was just me. So I think that goes to show that Frankie's pretty hot. Oh well. All right, I'm out of here. Yeah, I'm leaving. I'm gonna clean this up first, and then I'm going.